Hey, Dally Man, is that how you say your name?
Yep,
Where are you calling from?
upstate New York.
Upstate New York. Well, what do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
My topic is that Doublelift will not be on Team Liquid next split, and they will bring in Sneaky, and they'll easily be a top 2 team with that roster. Because I think the main reason they brought in Broxa was because they wanted to have jungle mid synergy, and TL doesn't play jungle mid, they play bot lane. So with Sneaky, he's a better weak side bot laner, so I think that would be a better fit for TL in their current iteration with Broxa.
That's hot.
It's pretty hot. Who wants to try and grab the hot take?
I don't. This is too hot for me. I'm gonna burn myself.
I mean, okay. I am going to say one thing is the way that them playing around mid, I don't think was hindered this split. Mostly because they brought in tactical, and they still didn't play around mid. And if TL is such a bot-centric team, bringing in Sneaky makes less sense. So it's like they have to force this playstyle if they want to get Sneaky. But it's kind of goofy because playing around mid and having a weak bot doesn't work well. Because if your bot lane's getting pushed in, they're going to roam through the river and control mid. And then your playing around mid doesn't work well.
All right, let's dissect. Hang on. Let's dissect this take, though. Before we even get to the Sneaky thing.
Gotcha.
Are we all 100% sure that Doublelift is on this team next split?
Yeah, I'd be pretty sure. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
This might not change next split, but I could definitely see TL making changes before next year.
Yeah, because I mean the contracts are all up at the end of the year, so
yeah.
I just like from the outside, like Doublelift has been, and I'm going to preface this by saying I don't have any like additional info on this. I don't have some sort of secret line. I'm not talking to Steve or Peter and hearing about them doing trade stuff. All I know is what publicly has been done, which is like Doublelift has not seemed as though he is like meshing well with the team, right? Like there's that interview that went up this week about it. In the interview that he did with me before we did the different version, he was talking about how he was frustrated with the coaches. Like, I just, I'm not saying that he's the obvious change. It's just one of those things where like I think a lot of people assume there's no world in which he could not be on the team next summer, in this summer. But people said the same thing before he left CLG, and people said the same thing before he left TSM. Like, people were shocked by these changes. People don't usually expect him to leave a team. And so I just am curious for you guys, like, as we're taking this call, and the take is Doublelift won't be there and it'll be Sneaky, we immediately jump to the Sneaky thing, which makes me wonder, like, are we so, like, do we even need to talk about Sneaky if we're so sure that, Peter is going to be on the team?
Yeah,
I mean,
that makes sense.
If we're talking about next split, it just someone just messaged me and made a good point about with the bumped up schedule and starting earlier to make room for potentially having MSI in the middle of July or whatever the plan is, you have even less time to really make moves and try to make things happen.
You also can't it's very unlikely that anybody will sign international players as well.
Because everyone's season's so fucked.
Well, not just the season, but also like, hey, player in another country, do you want to come here? Well, like there's a travel ban, and our country is like getting growing cases every single day. Like, I don't think that you can. You're pretty much stuck with the pool of players that you already have here in North America.
Right. So anyways, my overall point is just that like it's super, super hard to make anything happen between spring and summer normally. And this is a horrible, horrible situation that we're in. So it's very unlikely to have anything possible. So just for that reason alone, even if there is this rift between Team Liquid and Doublelift, I just don't like, other than him being like, don't play me. Like that's like the extent that, or maybe Team Liquid's like, you don't get to play. Like either way, I don't think it's like a trade him and find some new talent. It would probably just be like tactical and Doublelift is bench. I don't think, or he quit or whatever. I just don't see how.
Well, Dally, you think it's going to be Sneaky. So do you have a rebuttal to Mark who believes that you'd be wrong?
Well, there's a good point that this year is going to be a lot different as far as offseason goes. So that could change things, and also the fact that his contract's not up until the end of the year. So I think Sneaky, because I think that Sneaky wants to still play on a main roster, and as far as I know, he was offered a lot of from a different he was given a lot of offers from different teams, and he just didn't accept any of them. So like he still wants to be in the LCS. So I'm just thinking that like he's probably the best alternative.
Do you think
if you're still looking?
why not tactical?
I think Sneaky's better than tactical. But it would make sense to put in tactical if they can't get Sneaky. But then everyone's gonna be like, but Double is still there. I think Sneaky would please the fans as well as like the team and everything, because I think he would be a better fit.
I mean, that actually more than anything is like in losing Doublelift, one of the biggest things you lose as a team is like the brand, right? Like TSM.
But Sneaky also has his own brand.
And that's my point.
So that would bring in other fans. Yeah.
That's my point, is that is the biggest reason why I can imagine them using Sneaky rather than tactical, is because if you're losing Doublelift's brand and sort of following and all that stuff, replacing it with another big name would be a good option.
I mean, at this point, I think your brand concern is more about fucking getting ninth with this roster and being a bit of a
you say that, but whenever Steve goes to sponsors, you want to be able to say, I've got, one of the biggest faces in the league on my team.
Yeah, that's the cherry on top of the non-existent Sunday, right?
But that is not necessarily true. I bet you right now CLG would much rather have like
which player has Steve got for followers over performance? Which player has he got that wasn't just like a really like the best player he could potentially get? When has he made this decision?
I don't know. I mean, I can't think of too many times whenever any team has made this decision.
That's my point, is that people put performance number one above all else.
And like I feel like once you have all the orgs are in a very different place than they were a couple years ago. They all need to generate significant revenue streams. They all have large sponsorships attached to this stuff. And you got to imagine that a huge amount of like, there's a reason Doublelift is the only person in any of these ads on the LCS broadcast. Like, you bring so much tremendous monetary and sponsorship value to your brand.
I feel like we're just talking past each other. I understand the value of fans,
you're saying, when has this ever happened before? I am saying it hasn't needed to happen before. We're in a different world now.
I think if he got Sneaky, it'd be because the finances worked out and he thinks Sneaky's better than tactical. And if there was a no-name fucking person he could get that was better than all of them, he would get that person.
You don't think Steve would be worried about losing all that brand following?
I don't think so, no. I mean, Team Liquid has had times where their roster was like Golden Glue, Rainover.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit about TL before then.
And they fucking sucked. That was the problem, was that they were ninth, not that roster wasn't... Like, C9 doesn't have that many popular players. None of their players are over 100K on Twitter. Currently, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to double check that. But they constantly shelved their popular players for better talent. And what do you know? They're the best team in the league. Maybe if people are thinking this way that you're suggesting, they need to stop now.
I don't know. I guess I think that there's more that goes into a player signing than just, is this going to make my team better? That's what I think.
I agree, but
no one's going to argue that.
Yeah.
All right, Dally-Man.
So when you're at 9th place, not doing very little will make your team better.
Listen, when you're chasing greatness, it's not about what you say, it's about what you do. That's what people need to realize.
Truth.
Dally-Man, thanks so much for the call. Anything you want to say before we move on to the next caller?
Yeah, shout out to my team at FLCC. We're the first accredited esports program in New York at a community college. So just want to give them a shout out. And yeah, that's about it.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.